What is the biggest thing right now that you can see with storytelling that has been so proven right now when it comes to selling online with video content and everything you do?
Authenticity and realness, and not trying to show something you're not. Everything you'll ever see from me is a real. Like, I'm not out here braggadocious, like, oh, doing this, doing that. Like, I'm saying what it is. I'm telling you what I had to do, telling you what I'm doing, and just being the realness.
So honored to be here with the amazing Brandon T. Adams, CEO, investor, and you've won 2 Emmy Awards. And as well as that, you're a producer, TV host, media expert. We would love to know for you to set the stage and share a bit about the pinnacle moments in your life.
So I grew up in Iowa. It's a state in the Midwest, cornfields and everything, very small town. So it wasn't like I was in this big city. I was always an entrepreneur. My father sold packaged ice for a living. I always say he started the Adams Ice Service, the last name is Adams, in 1986. I was born in 89. And I say when I got out of my mother's womb, I was literally working because my dad, literally, as I was a kid, I was working with my father in the ice business. So I learned what it was like to work with customers, work ethic, you name it. I was going and selling ice. And so that was my beginning of my career.
If you were to give that one key of advice for everyone listening that opens the door to their empire, what would that key be?
Welcome to the Queendom.
And we are here with keys to the Queendom, the US, Los Angeles, California, the first international show that we got to do here. And I'm in the midst of this amazing studio. And I'm so honored to be here with the amazing Brandon T. Adams, CEO, investor, and you've won 2 Emmy Awards. And as well as that, you're a producer, TV host, media expert. You are seriously the type of person I've been watching. Welcome to Keys to the Queendom, King. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, I'm excited. I love the energy and excited to share some fun stories.
I was speaking to Dr. Bruce before, and I've had a lot of caffeine. After that,
Michael Bruce, in the presence of him, you'll feel energized.
Literally.
That's why his book is called Energized.
I'm going to be reading. I've never read it before. I'll be in your mastermind tomorrow, so I'm really excited for that as well. But for the listeners as well, we would love to know for you to set the stage and share a bit about the pinnacle moments in your life and how you are the person you are today.
Yeah. So I'll give the background. So I grew up in Iowa. It's a state in the Midwest, cornfields and everything. Yeah. My hometown was 700 people. So very small town. My graduating class was like 80 people. So it wasn't like I was in this big city. I was always an entrepreneur. My father sold packaged ice for a living. I always say he started the Adams Ice Service, the last name is Adams, in 1986. I was born in 89. And I say, when I got out of my mother's womb, I was literally working because my dad, literally, as I was a kid, I was working with my father in the ice business. So I learned what it was like to work with customers, work ethic, you name it. I was going and selling ice. And so that was my beginning of my career. Where I really, my mind changed was I went to college. I wasn't very good at college. I got a 1.68 GPA. I almost dropped out. But what I did is I read a book called Napoleon Hill. The book was called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I read the book and it completely changed how I thought. It made me realize I could really do anything I set my mind to, surround myself with the right mastermind group, have persistence, all these different principles. And so I share that because that was really a pivotal part of my life. It's like, you don't know what you don't know. And then you read that, your mind is like, wow, this is what world and life is. Yeah. And so I read it. And then I started really using those principles in my life. And so in the ice business, did that. And then I invented this product called Arctic Stick to cool and flavor drinks. And so that was like my first endeavor where I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this idea to market. I'm going to scale all this. And so I went on that endeavor. Now that invention never really made me any money. But what it did is it taught me a lot of things. I went and it taught me pitching. It taught me product development. It taught me fundraising. And so I got into crowdfunding. I was helping people raise money. And so that was an endeavor that came from that pursuit to that invention. What I found out is a lot of people needed help with crowdfunding. They needed help raising money. And so I started becoming a crowdfunding expert. But then another transition happened. I found out the key component to raising the money was a video that we created. We created a 2 to 3 minute video. And that video is what we did to get people's attention, put it in the funnels, put it to get people to give us money. And so I started focusing more on the video production. And that's when we created Accelerate Media Group, which became the powerhouse to help scale brands, to help scale businesses, and eventually led to me getting into investing, advising companies, and where I'm at today. So that's kind of the story of the journey from Iceman to crowdfunding to video production, then doing TV shows and winning Emmys.
The town that you were in and the fact that you were in the ice business and you witnessed your father obviously being that entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
You know, what were the key lessons that your father taught you that you have probably brought into your life today and built your legacy?
So by watching him, I learned work ethic. But what I really took away from my father was customer service and building relationships. So think about this. We're in an ice truck. We're going maybe 20, 30 different stores, accounts in a day. So we had restaurants, we had bars, we had convenience stores, we had special events. And so we're meeting with other entrepreneurs, other business owners. So I got to see as a kid what it was like seeing my dad work with these people.
Yeah.
So he communicated, he built rapport, he sold them on things, obviously. And so I learned sales and I learned customer service. And the one thing my father said is always go above and beyond for your customers. And so I apply that in everything I do. So like anything, an interview I'm doing, a show, how can I create an experience with the person I'm with? When I'm speaking on a stage, how can I create this moment for people? When I'm working with a client or a company we're a partner in, how can I go above and beyond, but also do something a little different that makes them feel better, where we're going to collaborate in a better way, which means we're going to have better results for the company. And so customer service, I mean, I'm grateful my father taught that to me. And whether he was teaching it or not, it was me absorbing what he was doing and just soaking it at a young age. And then I just kept doing it in my own way.
Brandon, you know, I've come here to learn from someone like yourself, and I have been watching. It's very, very inspiring. And just before you said as well, for me, I've been comfortable where I am with my business in Australia. So I'm now diving into discomfort, being around people like yourself. Do you find that these days people are more wantrepreneurs rather than entrepreneurs?
Queen, how often have you said, I spent my whole life studying, I've been to school my whole life, and I've actually learned nothing that teaches me the tools and strategies to build a successful business in the outside world. You've probably spent thousands of dollars on courses, or you've heard fake news from business gurus. Well, I'm here to give this incredible news to everyone here right now that this is Queen Stream University. Get out of debt and actually start making money in the online space, knowing and having the foundations to build a successful business. Now I'm talking because I have gone through the trenches. I have been a fitness coach, built my online business as a pro athlete, and now I am a business coach. You'll go from having absolutely no idea what your business is through, in the 8 weeks, learn the foundations of knowing what your purpose is, your vision and mission, and also understanding your business values with the execution to know what that business is. You'll also learn branding, social media, content strategy, marketing, and more importantly, how to sell. With Queenstream University, it'll cut out the bullshit and remove all the fluff and get you working specifically on your business so you can execute this in 8 weeks to get ready to launch. I wanted you to have something where you get to access something straight away, where you get to fast track your growth, as well as remove any doubt, any overwhelming sensation or stress, or the question that everyone seems to ask, where do I begin? With Queenstream University, you'll be able to build wealth, freedom, and at the end of the day, be an entrepreneur and be able to say, I have finally built my own thing, my own business. And I've stopped making money for someone else, and I'm now making money for my own empire. Queenstream University.
So that's a very good question. Entrepreneurship has become this sexy thing. It's become like, oh, be an entrepreneur, be like, that's a thing, right? You look at Gary Vee, he's an entrepreneur, and other people, let's go sell baseball cards. Let's go flip things. And I think that's amazing. I think not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think some people are meant to be a second person in charge that helps scale an entrepreneur. And so you can be an owner of a business, but not technically be like the entrepreneur minded. You're more like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship is not easy, especially starting out. Like most people fail, most people quit. And the ones that are most successful are the ones that never quit and keep going. I mean, I laugh now with my wife. I mean, we sat at a really nice dinner the other night. I take her on a date night every week. And I mean, we spend a decent amount of money for some food and experience, and we have a great life, very grateful. But we look back and we laugh. And we're like, remember when we were broke? Or like, remember, like I shared earlier on a podcast how I lost everything. They took my land. They took they took my vehicle. I literally was almost bankrupt and lost everything. My wife and I'll never forget one time we're on this trip and we're traveling, and I'm like, fuck, we don't have enough money. We're going to have to sleep in the vehicle. And God was like watching, because we showed up at this hotel. I can't make this up. And for some reason, the guy, we thought we had points or something, never charged us for the hotel room.
That's insane.
And never charged us for the hotel room. And we went to another place, and somehow it worked, and like money appeared. Like sometimes in life, I don't even know how we got through.
Yeah.
Like I remember a time we had a check in the mail, and it was for like 10 grand, and we needed it bad. And we didn't have a bank nearby. And I think at that time I couldn't do that big a deposit. I drove 4 hours to deposit the check because I needed the money.
Yeah.
And so I share those moments because entrepreneurship, if you're ever going to achieve something monumental, you're going to go through a shit show, and you're going to have to defy all odds. And when you least want to do something, you're going to have to do it. And so there are a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm not saying that in a way like you're a entrepreneur. It's just not everybody has what it takes to be successful in business, because you eat what you kill.
Yeah.
It's like the hunter and gatherer. I'm going to go out in the woods. If I don't kill, I'm going to fucking die. So I have to go kill something and eat it and live. In business, it's that same kind of way. If I don't figure a way to get people to pay me, and I got to make sure I provide value, because if I don't provide massive value, that business won't be sustainable. You have to figure a way to make money and live along the way.
Yeah.
And now throw this loop to people, successful entrepreneurs. Throw all these financial crises, maybe a lawsuit at them, everything. And then you're negative hundreds of thousands in the bank.
Yeah.
You're broke. And it's like, at that point, most people quit.
Yeah.
The real entrepreneurs, okay, what do I got to do to figure it out? And what'll happen is they'll reinvent themselves, and they will find a way to build something massive.
I wanted to be transparent because I know that's a massive thing.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur. I became homeless when I was 12.
Wow.
So that was my persistence, perseverance. I'd love to know from you, what was the lesson for yourself when you reached that broke feeling, you know, when you first
I will, but
lost
before
everything?
homeless at 12,
Yeah.
tell me, what did you do to have the mindset to be able to keep pushing at 12 years old? I can't
Yeah.
even imagine. My niece is 11. So what did you do to get through that?
To be honest, for me, I've always had this massive why that I wanted to give my future family the life I never had. So seeing that for me at 12, it was like, okay, I know what I need to do in order for me to, one, make a career, build an empire, but also just learn the mistakes my family put me through. So I think it was perseverance, and I just had this grit and resilience. So it was, I really appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean, you knew you had to do something to make it work.
It was like no other choice.
So the same goes. So the
The
answer I'll give you is, I mean, I here's the thing. When I hit my rock bottom was when I literally lost everything, and I had some ego at the time because I had just won an Emmy. I had some success, and the world thought I was successful.
Yeah.
Me, I was broke. I didn't know how to provide for my wife.
Yeah.
I felt like a loser. And so at that moment for me, when I had nothing, felt like I couldn't do anything right, I felt like a piece of shit. And I felt like, what can I do? But what I found, and you probably found when you were homeless, you get so frustrated and angry at your current situation that you say, I will never feel like this again. Never. And I'll do whatever it takes to never feel like this again. And not only that, I'm going to show everybody what I am capable of. And then one day I'm going to tell the story of how I was here and how I got here.
Yeah. Life is happening for you, not to you.
When you have that mindset, I do it all the time. I believe in a higher power. I believe in God.
Yeah.
And I believe God puts things in front of you for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, why is that happening? But I say, you know what? He works in mysterious ways. That maybe taught me a lesson that may put me in a different way of how I think, how I perform, how I do things, or maybe a pivot that I needed to take. And there was a strong thing I saw somewhere where God can hear things people are saying about you that you can't hear behind your back.
Yeah, wow.
And that's when reasons why some things don't work. And life happens for you and not against you. And the second you realize that that is true is when life happens in good ways for you. Instead of having oh man, that happened against me. Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
happened for me.
Victim mentality versus growth mindset.
Growth mindset.
Yeah.
Growth mindset is how can I turn this into a great situation and use it to my advantage?
Well, you were speaking before about your beautiful Think and Grow Rich experience as well, because I know that's how you met James.
Yeah.
And that was you were the producer of the show, is that right?
So James and I were both producers. I helped raise a lot of money for it, but then I
Amazing.
also I was the youngest guy at the time. I'm 33 now. I was 27 at the time.
Amazing.
Youngest guy in the film. Yeah.
That's so, and because you were saying before, you've taken elements from the book as well. What's your favorite bit?
So if I think of principles,
Yeah.
so James wrote my part. It was Warren Moon and I were both on persistence. So persistence for me,
It's very
being
you.
persistent, mindset. But I'll tell you, the mastermind was a big one for me. Because once I realized that I have to be the smartest guy, but I could surround myself with other smart people and learn to delegate them in perfect harmony towards a goal, that changed everything for me.
Yeah.
So the mastermind principle, sex transmutation, it was one
chapter
that
11,
took,
I think.
that took me years because, I mean, you think about this, very successful people usually highly sexually driven, and that can actually be a negative result for people. And what does that mean? That means they go out and they go have sex all the time and they focus all their energy on that.
Yeah.
Well, when you can learn to take that energy and put it towards creativity, channel that's when you really see results.
Yeah.
And so that was powerful for me. And then, I mean, you could talk about the ghosts and tapping into your subconscious and you dream about certain things. That's when you're a whole nother level, by the way.
Yeah.
And I've had that in parts of my life. Yeah. But I guess two things that really stood out to me is whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind achieves. That's his main quote. So whatever you conceive and then you actually believe it, you'll eventually achieve it. And the next thing my mentor led me to the book said, you become what you think about most of the time. I did not understand that. I'll never forget. I left. His name's Cactus Shack Behringer. He's actually the guy that did a deal with Kevin Harrington on Shark Tank, who eventually became one of my main business partners.
About to ask you about that.
Yeah. And so Jack, I was leaving his house, about to get my vehicle, my F-150 pickup at the time. And he said, Brandon, you become what you think about most of the time.
Yeah.
And he paused and he said again, you become what you think about most of the time. And I started thinking about that. And I realized your thoughts that go in your head, think about thoughts of, hey, you're a piece of shit, or hey, you're not going to do this, or hey, you're powerful, or hey, you're wealthy. The things you think about lead to your own reality. And then when you think about positive things and think about what you want, money or being a success or whatever, you start thinking about things that will lead you to that.
Yeah.
And so be very careful what you think about. And that's why surround yourself with the right mastermind group, because they will put thoughts into your brain that push you to think on another level. And then the last thing that saved me from all my obstacles in life was Napoleon Hill said, our brightest days are just beyond our darkest nights.
Yeah.
So I'm sure when you were homeless and when I was almost bankrupt, when I was at dark moments and I just kept pushing forward, I looked back on the book, made me realize I'm just about hit my brightest day. And I did.
Then there's more.
And then once you do, then you know the next time you hit that obstacle, they're going to hit your bright day.
Hey, beautiful kings and queens. Are you right now in a space where you're ready to take action and build your business, yet you struggle where to begin? You're feeling stuck and overwhelmed with all the things you need to do when it comes to building a business. Build the business of your dreams in the online space and be in the arena of all the incredible, great humans out there that are building 7 to 8 figure businesses. Now, the foundations that I truly believe in that you are going to learn through this membership is sales, marketing, content creation, social media, money mindset, and of course, branding. Now, all of this will be accessible for you to be learning what is currently hot right now in the market and how you can create your own business and build a successful business in the online space. All you have to do right now is DM Empire in my Instagram or email myself and my team, and we will get the ball rolling so you can have your empire and start making moves in the online space.
So I've done some digging.
Ooh.
This is persistence, not stalking.
Oh, I was going to say, you seem to have been in jail. That's public.
How did you know?
Another journey.
I went to your first photo in Instagram, 2015, 1st of May, and you announced
Oh, boy.
you were doing a podcast. I'm bringing this up because it comes back to putting all your pieces together, the connection piece of where you are, well, where you were then to where you are now.
Yeah.
It's that momentum,
What was the picture?
right? It was you. I've got it here. I can show you. I can't remember exactly. And then your first video was you're going to be the #1 podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember it?
I did that, and I did a apprentice competition
Show
video,
you.
but
Just so you know, I'm not lying.
no. So oh, wow.
I did dig in. And do you know,
you know where
really
that
go
is?
down.
I'm in the parking lot in Ohio. I remember that.
Yeah.
So I found out that I had 50 most influential biz podcasts, something, I think.
It's amazing.
And I was sleeping in my truck at the time, by the way. I was traveling around the
Really?
country, sleeping in my truck. I once slept in Hollywood here off
Yeah.
of Vine Street. There's a LA Fitness Center. I once did a 9-day podcasting trip in that parking lot. If you've ever been there, it goes into a garage. Well, I slept in my truck in that parking garage for a week once. And what I did is I negotiated a free pass to the gym because I've always worked out. So I'd work out in the morning, get my workout in, shower, there's my shower, and then go to work during the day meetings. And then at night, I would sleep in the truck in that parking lot. And then I also edited podcasts in my truck. And so
Love that.
that was the beginning. So what was the question?
Well, I just wanted to bring that forward because I think a lot of people see life as highlight reels,
Yeah.
right? And I think, as you said before, entrepreneurs, there's the good with the bad. What do you give advice on when there's that moment in time when you don't feel like the needle is moving until it does?
I would say this. Think about, let's say if you knew that your 25th step forward or 25th reach out would be your big win and you're on number 10. How excited would you be on number 13, 14, 23, and knowing 25 is going to be your win? Look at life that way. Like the 3 feet from gold story. Let's go to Think and Grow Rich. I'll share this quick story. So we did a whole theatrical like scene on this.
Yeah.
And the 3 feet from gold is a gentleman was mining gold and he struck a vein of gold and he got some gold. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get all the machine and we're going to really go deep into this. He went home, got money from his friends and family. He gathered all the equipment. He went back and he mined the gold. They got gold. They hit a dry spell. So he hit the dry spell and he's, oh man, what do I do? What do I do? He quit. And what he did is he actually sold for pennies on the dollar all the equipment to a garbage man. And a garbage man bought it, and he went on his way. The garbage man seeked specialized knowledge, an expert in gold mining. And he brought him in and said, here's what we got. And the expert said, by my calculations, if you drill 3 feet in this direction, you'll strike a vein. He did 3 feet in that direction. He found millions of dollars worth of gold. The garbage man became successful. Didn't matter. He's a garbage man. He seeks specialized knowledge. So that garbage man, lesson there is he seeks specialized knowledge. He got a mastermind around him and he got wealth. Now the guy, here's the best part. The guy that gave up 3 feet from gold found out the situation. And what did he do? He said, you know what? I may have quit 3 feet from gold, but I'll never quit again. And I'm going to get insurance. And every time he got somebody to close the door on him, he said, I'll never allow no to be something that stops me. He built a multi-million-dollar business selling insurance. So he took his temporary defeat and he found a way to use it to his advantage. And again, you look at the garbage man, he seeks specialized knowledge. So you look at that and you look at life, it gives you a different perspective of how you look at things and how you implement them. And knowing that alone, if you follow those two different things, you can literally get whatever you want in life.
Yeah. It's never giving up, as you said.
It's never giving up.
Beautiful.
You just gotta keep going. So the person right now, if you're sitting there, you're sleeping in your truck like me, You don't know what you're going to do. You're not getting your win. You're like, fuck, I can't even make any money. So I know what it's like. But I can tell you, when you learn how to make money, the money flows. But you don't know how to make money. Nothing's going right. Think of the 3 feet from gold. Just know, if you actually surround yourself with the right people and you commit yourself, you have to be committed 100% in, and you keep pushing forward, you will find the win. And then what happens is that one win can lead to another win, and then another win. And then you're going to see obstacles, and then you're going to learn from them, and you're going to have bigger wins.
Yeah.
And so just keep going. Never give up.
We were touching about creativity with the movie as well, because you got into producing. And I believe it was from previous TV show Ambitious Adventures, which led you to the producing side of things. I'm curious, just because I used to be a performer as well. Creativity has been in my blood, but for you, you've veered into video editing, video marketing. That's like what your jam is at the moment. Am I right in saying that? What's the advice you bring to people when it comes to building that creativity if you've never really had that before? And
be around creative people, and be obsessed with learning the process. I look at Ambitious Adventures. First show I did was I was in crowdfunding, and I was helping people raise money. And the key component to raising money was a video. But one guy came to me, a guy named Greg Roulette, and he said, "Hey, I have this pilot running this TV show. And if you help me raise the money," I had my specialized knowledge in crowdfunding. He said, "I'll make you my co-host." And prior to that, I was doing film. I was like video with a videographer, getting on camera. And it was like something I always loved to do. I was doing a little bit of acting and stuff. And so I said yes. And that was my first real like dive into creativity. And anytime I ever did something, I went all in. So in that time frame, I actually ended up moving to Florida to be closer to my business partner, co-host. And also his other business partner, Nick Nanton, has done some of the biggest documentaries. I knew that if I was around him, I could learn. And so I consumed myself. So how to be creative, be around creative people, but completely immerse yourself into it. So what I did is I went all in. I moved to the location. I filmed. I put money into it, put a lot of money into it. And I was just obsessed. I leveraged my connections. That year, we had so many interesting people. We had Jake Paul before he became the fighter. Jake Paul was on our show. Jack Canfield, Lewis Howes. We had Kevin Harrington, Kayla, all these other people in different perspectives. And it was such a cool show. It should have won an Emmy nomination. And that creativity led me down a path of, okay, I'm addicted. And then we did Success in Your City, and then I did other shows. But just be around creative people and consume yourself. You have to be so obsessed that you look like you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, Conor McGregor crazy.
And so, Conor. And so what I did is I invested everything I ever made and had into my content, my own content. And what I did is I figured out ways I would charge. I knew how to make money. I used the money I made in profits to reinvest in my TV shows and then reinvest into my own content for myself. And I just constantly did that. Now, looking back, it was a little crazy because that kind of almost put me into the bankruptcy stuff. But we all look at it happens for you. Because I did that where I'm at today, oh man, it accelerated everything. And so you got to go all in. Well, you got to consume yourself.
Well, that's why I found that photo. It's just a beautiful message for everyone out there that where you started from with the consistency, the commitment as well with your content. It's actually quite funny. My partner and I went to a Rams game, first NFL game that we've ever been to. And I was sitting next to this guy, and he has recently filmed a pilot with Harrison Ford. And I said to him, like, what's Harrison Ford like? And he said, you know what? The media makes him out, or he probably has a PR person telling him to be the angry type. But he said he's actually a really kind human being, really kind. And it kind of got me thinking about brand authenticity. And I know you're really big on storytelling. You know, what is the biggest thing right now that you can see with storytelling that has been so proven right now when it comes to selling online with video content and everything you do?
So authenticity and realness, and not trying to show something you're not. Everything you'll ever see from me is the real shit. Like, I'm not out here braggadocious, like, oh, doing this, doing that. Like, I'm saying what it is. I'm telling you what I had to do, telling you what I'm doing, and just being the realness. And I'm bringing people in my life. When you can bring your authenticity to the world, but also bring them behind the scenes of your life, it's like you have your own reality TV show. I mean, you look at the Kardashians, right? It's keeping up with the Kardashians.
But everyone wants to watch it, right?
Yeah, everyone wants to watch it. Well, I haven't watched it, but other people do. But that was the greatest marketing for them. It grew their brand. It grew everything. They made a lot of money. We all can have our own reality TV show. What is it? It's this thing right here. It's a phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a phone that creates videos. It's a phone that posts to your Instagram stories. It does Facebook Lives. It posts videos to all your pages. People are watching you. They're seeing who you are. You're at a football game. You're with your family. You're producing content. You're on a podcast show today. You're helping a company. When people see you do it, you're not just saying it.
Yeah.
You're actually showing them that you're doing it. That is your own reality TV show. We all are the producer and director of our own reality TV show. And you know what the audience is? The viewers is anybody that watches your social media. That's your distribution. Those are your networks. And so the more you can just share who you are and share your story, the more people connect with you, the more likely they're going to work with you because the more like and trust they have with you.
Yeah.
But also from a business standpoint, to be very strategic, share stories of people you've helped. So I'll give you an example. So let's say Ralph, for example.
Yeah.
Ralph and I met on a podcast show, and Ralph wanted to get his show out there and he wanted to go produce another show. And so I met Ralph and I started work with Ralph. I started advising Ralph. I started helping him build his brand. I started helping strategic open doors. We produced another show. We got distribution. We led to launch an event. We did a best-selling book. And now Ralph, he was successful then, but now he's got more opportunities. He's got more stages. He has more success in his life. And so I'm telling a story. There's other Ralphs out there that can relate. Be like, I want to be Ralph. I'm Ralph. I want to be the guy that is a hero that becomes that success. So share case studies of some of your best people you've worked with. And you don't even have to say their name. You say Ralph, for example, and take people on that journey.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is your viewers can be like, I want to work with you, Brandon. I want to be Ralph. And so that's the power of storytelling through case studies that you share with your audience, which other people see themselves in that. And the more you understand who your ideal client is, the more you share stories that are speaking directly to them.
That really resonates as well because I've recently gone from being a pro fitness coach athlete into business mentoring, and that's why since I've been following
Good for you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
I know Samantha's really big on her
Yes.
fitness as
You were a
are.
wrestler too?
I was bodybuilding. Yeah,
Okay, I was going to say
professionally.
wrestler. We were talking about Ric Flair back there
I'm like,
and
not
wrestling.
quite.
And,
Bikini type of thing.
bikini. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Thank you. And I just want to say it's really what you're saying really resonates because when I was in the fitness space, there was a lot of facade. And it's not because I was in the fitness space. It was what I thought I had to be online. And you spoke about the ego a lot before. I had ego massively when I was a fitness coach. So just I felt really connected what you're saying there. It was because it comes back to being relatable to your audience. Where back then I was kind of putting on this sort of projection of what I thought I had to be and then sort of peeling the layers now. I really connect with the audience when it comes to then that piece where people just want to see who you really are. Not who you think you have to be for them.
It is so true. My wife she's a great example of it. She is really into personal training, but also her own fitness journey.
Yeah.
But she'll just open up. She'll be like sometimes, hey, I just want to go have a cheat meal. Yeah. Or hey, I actually don't I don't even feel like working out today. Because that's really what a lot of people think. And just share that because other people can relate because they see this girl that's all really good looking, fitness model, all that. And it's like, man, she must do this and that. But when she shares, oh, hey, I had a little break. I had a drink. I had some food. I didn't work out today. That humanizes her, which allows her to connect with her audience because they see somebody that looks like a model. Yeah. But then it's like, how can I compare? And it's like, oh, they probably don't eat any carbs. They work. But no, they're a human too. And that is authenticity that connects with your audience.
And just going back to that, Brandon, it also feels like a lot of people think they have to be perfect in the online space. And I think vulnerability is brave. And I feel like a lot of people now, and you said before so beautifully, the more you just show the parts that are good and bad, people are going to connect with you more as well.
And you look at the video site too, a number one reason why people don't create videos or don't post them is because they feel like it needs to be perfectly edited. Yes. I mean, you look at some of my videos, go to Brandon T. Adams on social media, you'll see I just recorded it. I used in the app to add the subtitles and I posted the damn video. Yeah. And that's it. I'm not adding all the cool stuff all the time. And sometimes those actually get the most attention. So don't feel like you have to have it perfect. before I did TV shows and documentaries and the most high level content, I started with just doing it with my phone.
Yeah.
And now today I do more with my phone than anything else. So there's a time and place for it all. Just post a damn video.
Just fucking post it.
Just
I swear a
fucking
lot.
post it.
I was like, I should probably tell
Just
people.
post a video and share who you are, what you do, and how you help people, and repeat it.
Speaking of videos, what are the icks? I don't know if this is a word in America. The stuff that you hate seeing when it comes to video content.
Is it icks? Is that the
It's
word?
like, ugh.
Icks.
And advice when it comes to just quality, quantity for new people that are wanting to do
I would
more.
say when people, and this was me years ago,
Yeah.
I was being somebody I wasn't.
Yeah.
So when you like show up somebody you're not, people can read that.
They can feel it, I think.
They can
as well.
feel it. And
Yeah.
I've had a transition in my career where I've become more kind of laid back. I'm very energetic, but it's like a different kind of like, hey, here's what I've done versus, hey, look at me, I've done this, right? And so there's that side of it. But also just some of the things you got to watch. Like I am a big component of telling your story, everything else.
Mhm.
But if just some things to be aware of, when people go hard politically, or if they go hard on a religion, like I'm talking like Die Hard, where there's no open-minded and they go in a different way, that will affect your business. Now, it can attract a lot of people. You get a lot of haters. I always suggest against it because at one time I did go hardcore on the political stuff years ago.
Really? And how'd that go?
I lost. I did a post with Donald Trump years ago, and I lost like 1,000 friends overnight.
How funny.
And that was I just realized I don't need that because then people reach out to me and they said, "Oh, I can't work with you because what you don't stand for women." Like what? Like where? Because I did a post with some other public figure, and then all these other things came up, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't even care to deal with this whole political thing or that. I just want to stay out. I want to keep focused on helping people, business, and so I stayed out of it. And I'm not saying that's right for everybody, but I'm just saying what will happen if you do go that route.
Yeah.
I saw it firsthand.
And that's a massive thing because I do feel like a lot of people do the controversial kind of thing. Like my good friend James Smith, he's very controversial, but he's very good at it. And it's kind of come across now where that's been his selling point. It works for him.
Some people can do it.
Yeah, I
Some
can't.
comedians too. Like I don't know
can't.
how they like Dave Chappelle is probably the only one that can get away with what he does.
That's true. That's true. Sorry, coming back to what I was feeling before. I've got 3 questions. I know you've been an absolute gem. First is, what is the advice you haven't taken that you wish you could have taken at the time? So an advice that someone gave to you that you didn't take.
Okay, so for that question, I think it probably was somebody told me early on in my career that, hey, if this doesn't work out, you could have this. And it was actually in my journey of Arctic Stick when I was developing my product. I was so bullheaded and like, hey, this will be successful no matter what happens, all in. And at one point I realized like I'm about to put a lot more money behind this. And I thought to myself, am I willing to just lose everything? And like, where this may not be the right kind of journey for me.
Yeah.
And that I eventually did listen and then use that experience to actually make money in different ways. So I probably should have pivoted sooner.
Yeah.
But then again, I think everything happens for a reason. But that would probably be the only thing. Here's the thing, people are always going to give you advice.
Yeah.
And there's some very successful people that give me advice. And a lot of times it'll be good, but sometimes they'll give you advice. Don't always listen to it because they might not have the same kind of perspective. Only you can have the unique perspective.
Yeah.
You take what really can resonate with you and what doesn't, let it flow by. Because there's been times where I got advice from some mentors. It wasn't quite the advice I needed. They gave me great advice before, but I needed to take my best judgment at hand and then do what I thought was actually best for me.
That was your intuition, right?
It was my intuition, yes.
Yeah, following your trust as well. Your Success Stories TV show, I wanted to bring this up because it's all about finding people's success. Did you know what success means to you?
Back then or now?
Ooh, good question. Now.
Okay, so here's what success is to me. Success to me is being the best I can be in all areas of my life. So as a husband, as a business partner, as a person, as a professional in what I do, whether it's helping grow companies or creating great events or producing content, film, in my health. So being the best I can be at what I do in that current time. Now, other people, and I also believe in building massive wealth. So that is, for me, success. Now, not everybody is going to have the same version of success. What I say to that is anybody listening or watching, think about what you want in life. Think about what makes you happy. What is it that you do that makes you happy? That is ultimately your success. So how can you become the best at what you do and achieve that goal? Now, that might not mean you want to build a $100 million company, billion-dollar company. That may not mean you want to be known. Maybe you just want to be the best mother, have 3 kids, and grow them to be titans. That's success. What is your success? Yeah. And I ask that question all the time, every year,
Love that.
every couple years, heck, every day I ask, what is success to me today? And the more you can really realize what that is, the more likely you're going to achieve it. So that's what it is. And I before, it was just, I needed to be seen, I make a lot of money, whatever. But deep down, what does that mean? What does that mean? I want somebody to basically give me approval that I'm doing something right. Yeah. Or, hey, I want love. I want connection. I want experiences. And so I want freedom. So really dive deep into what it actually is that you want, because society and social media will tell you, if you don't do this, you're not successful. That's bullshit. Yeah. That's giving you a false kind of belief system.
It's coming back to you and your own self, right? Yeah. Understanding you as a person and just going in with your gut too. So I really resonate with that, Brandon.
Yeah.
Last question. It has been an absolute queenlicious session with you. I really appreciate having you here. I always ask my guest speakers the last question, which is, if you were to give that one key of advice for everyone listening that opens the door to their empire.
Yeah.
What would that key be?
That key would be, find somebody that has already achieved what you want to achieve in your life. And but if you haven't figured that out, just try a bunch of things you like. Eventually you'll figure out what you like. And then once you figure out what you like and where you want to go, find somebody. This is what I always did, and I've done very successfully. Find somebody that's already achieved it. Find a way to be of service to them, or very bluntly, give them a lot of money. Pay them, buy their books, hire them, invest money with them, or become of service to them to help them achieve their goals. And how do you figure that out? You study them. You study them, you read their books, you find out what ticks, figure out what they want, and you help them achieve it. And when you become such of service, they will listen. And then the next step, which is the most important, that person's already achieved what you want to achieve, get into business with them.
Yeah.
And then once you're in business association and business partnership, the world is yours. And that's exactly what I did multiple times in my career. And now I'm at the pinnacle of, I believe, in a point where I have maximum growth right now. Yeah. Like, I am achieving things, but I'm about to achieve even more because I got into business with the right people. But I was a long game. It took years. Yeah. But I knew it wasn't a quick buck or, hey, help me, mentor me. Kept investing, kept cultivating, kept just basically planting seeds, watering, and eventually you can harvest.
Honestly, I think that's the best answer I've received. Thank you so much. Brandon, how can everyone find you, and what are you working on so that they can all start following your journey?
Well, first of all, thank you so much.
No,
great show. Really, I'm
you.
excited for future endeavors together. I am easy to find, Brandon T. Adams on social media, BrandonTAdams.com. Our company where we scale different brands and companies at AccelerateMediaGroup.com. And for anybody that wants to come hang out with my wife and I, we have an event called Rise and Record. It's you go to riseandrecord.com. It's all about sharing your story through video content. It is coming up. We're really excited in Nashville, Tennessee. Come hang out. Come be in our world. Let's have some fun. You learn from our speakers. Be in a room for 2 and 3 days. It's a game changer. So riseandrecord.com.
Are you going to come to Australia by any chance? Well, I'm leaving so soon because I would seriously come.
You know, it's crazy. It's I almost had some group hire me to go speak, and then I think it was COVID hit.
Yep.
Not been there yet. James said, he's like, we got to figure it out.
Yeah, we will figure it out.
I haven't had it happen. For me, like, I value my time so much that I look at, where am I spending my time? Do I want to be in the proximity of the right energy? That's why I'm here with James Whitaker. Yeah. I love James. Okay, then what's the value of my time? What's the money that's coming towards it? Because I use that money for other things. Because you go to Australia, I'm there for a week, man. It's a day there, got my event or whatever I'm doing, a day back. So it's going to happen. It's either going to happen in my own terms or somebody's going to be like, I'm going to wire you a lot of money and come hang out. Okay. But no, that's my answer. Well, I'll eventually be there.
You know what? I'll make sure it happens. I'll speak to James. I mean, this is why I am here, to witness you speak to Mo and James as well. So
I love it.
I'm excited for the mastermind. And for everyone listening, this is Keys to the Queen. And I'm your host, Tamara Maya. Thank you.